you're on a health kick, so for lunch it's a big bowl of ice cream. No, just kidding. It's actually, you're going to have a Greek salad. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, feta cheese, and olives. Again, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, feta cheese, and olives. So what's the bracha? Well, we really have two questions here. First, what is the bracha on each individual ingredient? And secondly, our question is, is this an ikr v'tafel situation? Is there a case here of primary and secondary foods where the primary foods would cover the secondary foods? So let's talk about first the individual brachas. The bracha on lettuce and also on tomatoes is ha'adama. Now the onions are shehakol, because as we learned in class number 6, a fruit or vegetable gets the classification of pre only when it's in its optimal edible state. And since most people cook or fry onions before eating them, a raw onion is not considered in its optimal state, and therefore it's not appropriate to say the borei pri, and the bracha on raw onions is shehakol. Now, the cheese is also shehakol. And finally, the olives, they have the bracha of borei pri ha'etz, and additionally, they are one of the 7 species. Now, as we said, that's if all these foods are being eaten individually. But our salad is an ikr v'tafel situation. So we need to determine what is the primary ingredient, what is the ikr of this salad. Generally, lettuce and tomatoes are considered the main ingredients. They're the bulk of the salad. The other ingredients are secondary, tafel, and therefore the only bracha you will say on this salad is ha'adama. It just makes sure that when you say the bracha, your first bite contains some of the ikr, either lettuce or tomatoes. And finally, if you pick out an olive to pop it in your mouth, since the olive is no longer being eaten in combination with the salad, but rather for its own sake, you would need to say the bracha ha'etz on the olive. If you anticipate ahead of time that you're going to eat the olives this way, then actually you would say a bracha on the olives first, before you say the hadama on the lettuce or the tomatoes. Why is this? It's not because the olives get the bracha ha'etz, or because they're one of the 7 species. Rather, as we learned in class number 17, it's because the olives are whole, shalem. And that takes precedence over the lettuce and tomatoes, which in your salad are probably cut. So it's really, in fact, it's probably a good idea to review many of the rules from class number 17 because they come up very often during the course of a day.